I want to talk real quick about the composition of the book of Lamentations. The book of Lamentations is a book that consists of 5 different poems corresponding with the 5 chapters. I want you to look at the first chapter. Chapter number 1, look at how many verses? 22. Go to chapter number 2. Chapter number 2, look how many verses? Chapter 2, 22. Okay? Go to chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, 66. 66. Chapter number 4, 22 verses. Chapter number 5, 22 verses. You say, well, that Lamentations is what is called an acrostic. Okay? An acrostic, it would be, and I can't really do anything off the cuff. It's where each line starts with the first letter of something, like like if you wrote like down a column, baseball, and then you made each line start with a B, and then the next line would start with an A, and then the next line would start with an S, and so forth. It's called an acrostic. Okay. Well, in chapters 1, chapters 2, and chapters 4, each verse begins with the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay? So it's like, for example, we're just going to compare it to the American alphabet. Verse 1 would be A, verse 2 would be B, verse 3, C, and instead of that, it's the Hebrew alphabet, which has 22 letters. Okay? That's chapter 1. That's chapter 2. Look at chapter 3. How many verses do we have in chapter 3? 66. Okay? 66. 66 divided by 3 is 22, okay? So it goes A, or, Aleph, 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 Bet, 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 Gimel, 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 Daleth, 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 yeah, and so forth. So it's equivalent to us saying like A, B, 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 C, 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 D, 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 okay? It's the letters of the Hebrew alphabet repeated 3 times, then the next letter. 3 times, then the next letter 3 times, and so forth, all through the chapter of Lamentations, chapter number 3. Lamentations, chapter number 4, we're back to 22 verses. Each verse corresponding with a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. For that, each verse is, a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Chapter number 5, it has 22 verses, but chapter 5 is not an acrostic. It doesn't start with the Hebrew letters. It doesn't follow that same pattern. Maybe they were trying to keep it 22 lines. I don't know if we have any kind of weirdos in here that likes to keep things symmetrical, Maybe, honestly, perhaps as far as the size or the font, who knows why they made that 22 lines. Maybe they just wanted to. And I say 22 lines, obviously the verses weren't, but as far as just the same length or content, maybe it was just something symmetrical with the rest of the poems. Maybe it flowed better. I don't know. I'm not some kind of savvy poet up here or anything like that. But chapter 5 does not follow that acrostic pattern of the Hebrew alphabet. The book consists of 5 different chapters, which is the same as 5 different poems. Chapter 1, the city sits desolate. It's taking a look at Judah, at what Judah once was, and now Judah is desolate. Chapter number 2, it details the destruction of Judah. Chapter number 3, it speaks of hope. Chapter number 4, it laments the ruin and desolation of the city and the temple, and it kind of links that. It says that the cause of that is people's sins, is the sins of the people of Judah. And chapter 5 is a prayer that Judah's reproach would be taken away.